There are a million people who are better at it than you. You don't belong there. You're just going to get found out and people are going to think less of you. Or worse, they're going to laugh at you. If you've had one or maybe all of those thoughts cross your mind, you've likely had a case of imposter syndrome. But fortunately, there is a cure and it works almost instantly. At least it can. And it did for me last weekend. This is The Next Simple Step. I'm Paul Goldsmith. I'm glad you're here because it helps me to overcome my podcast imposter syndrome, which was real, by the way. I put off producing this podcast for years because I worked in radio around broadcast professionals with huge followings and podcasts that had incredible listenership numbers. And I eventually decided that I was going to put one out, and if nobody listened, then I probably wouldn't do it for long. But the fact that you're listening right now validates that you find this meaningful. So thank you. It was worth doing. I was reminded of this last week when I was invited to speak, but it wasn't just any speech. It was one in which I had to ask the audience to give tens of thousands of dollars to a local nonprofit. You may know that I own a fundraising company, so you might assume that that wouldn't be a big deal. That would be easy for me, right? Well, not exactly, because in the fundraising company, I'm the business guy. I manage the business and strategy. Sometimes I write an appeal letter, or I even go on the radio from time to time and make an appeal. But that's in a padded studio all by myself or with one other person. I don't often stand on a stage and look at the faces of 600 people enjoying their dinner and then ask them to donate tens of thousands of dollars in the moment. But that's exactly where I found myself. The event was for a great cause. I'm on the board. It's a local food pantry in Spring Hill, Tennessee, where I live. It's called the Well Outreach, and they do incredible work. Every year since the pandemic, the need has expanded exponentially to the point where last year they fed 13,000 local families, and they expect that number to double this year. As such, the financial need has increased as well. And so when I was asked to make the appeal on stage at their banquet, my first thought was, isn't there someone with better speaking ability, more charisma, or as the kids call it, Riz? Am I the best person for this job? Because it really matters to me that they raise the funds. Enter imposter syndrome. But the anecdote for me worked almost instantly because I realized that I am the best person for this job because I am passionate. I give, and I want other people to give as well, because helping our neighbors in need is really important. And if I embarrass myself by flubbing the speech or, say something wrong, it's not about me anyway. And so all I can do is my best. And that's what I did. And you know what? The same is true for you. You have a unique calling to do the things you're passionate about, to speak up for the things that really matter to you, to do the work in the world that matters to you. There may be other people that are doing similar work that have different qualifications or ability levels, but they're not you. You only answer for yourself. I believe that each one of us, you and me, and everyone else, have unique giftings and our unique mix of experience and calling that only we can respond to. And no one is inherently better or worse than anyone else. And so all we can do is our best to answer our unique call in life. Life is too short to sit on the sidelines. Get in the game you were meant to play. It really is an infinite game. There's an infinite number of players, but only you can play your part. That means you have to show up. You have to do hard things. You have to face uncertainty that it just might not work. And most importantly, you have to not worry about what others will think. It's none of your business what other people are thinking. They've got their own unique calling to respond to. In fact, they're generally not thinking about you anyway. The quickest way to overcome imposter syndrome is to do work that deeply matters to you more than your own public image, if you will. More than you care if people judge you, it's worth doing. You do it for you because you don't know what's possible, what you're capable of until you actually do it. Confidence takes reps. In fact, I think we had that phrase on a t-shirt at our gym, Burn Boot Camp. As a matter of fact, the gym is an incredible place to overcome imposter syndrome because when you first start, it is really scary. Everyone is stronger or faster or more fit than you, it seems. But it doesn't take long. If you keep showing up, you start getting a little bit stronger or faster or more fit. And then one day you notice there are other people beginning their journey. They're starting back where you started a while ago. And because you didn't quit, you made progress. And then you kind of see it from their perspective of like, man, I hope they keep showing up because then they can experience the progress I've experienced. And there's always a new level for you to achieve. It's always you versus you. And it's a great analogy for life. Each day is a gift. And none of us know how many days we'll have. So you have to continue to challenge yourself. When your time is up, you'll know you did what you could, what you were called to do. You did your best. I was thinking a lot about that because if you don't follow the world of running, you might not have heard, but the world record holder for running a marathon, Kelvin Kiptum, he ran the Chicago Marathon last October and achieved a marathon record of running it in just 2 hours and 35 seconds. Kelvin's just 24 years old, and he tragically died in a car accident last week. And I think about how much that young man was looking forward to his next race. He was trying to beat the under 2 hour mark, topping his own world record. Obviously a freak accident, a tragedy, but I think it's amazing that in his short life, he still did his best and achieved a world record. I can't wait to get to heaven someday and give this dude a high five. What a remarkable life. If today was your last day on earth, maybe you didn't win a world marathon record, but have you done your very best? Have you set out to accomplish your deepest desire to make a difference in the world, to advocate for the thing you're passionate about, to help the people that you care the most about? If not, what's stopping you? A little imposter syndrome that somebody might judge you or be better than you? Who cares? We're all the beneficiary of everyone that came before us and made this moment possible. So don't squander it. I'm reminded by a quote from Steve Jobs about a year before he died. He said, "I grow little of the food I eat, and of the little I do grow, I did not breed or perfect the seeds. I do not make any of my own clothing. I speak a language I did not invent or refine. I did not discover the mathematics I use. I am protected by freedoms and laws I did not conceive of or legislate and do not enforce or adjudicate. I am moved by music I did not create myself. When I needed medical attention, I was helpless to help myself survive. I did not invent the transistor, the microprocessor, object-oriented programming, or most of the technology I work with." Steve Jobs changed the world with his inventions, but even he had the humility to realize he had to use a lot of tools and support that he had nothing to do with creating. And the same is true for you and me. We just have this moment in time with the tools and the resources and connections that we have to do our best. It might not work, but that's okay. You will know that you did your very best. And I know that imposter syndrome is real, but doing the stuff that I say I want to do and going for the accomplishments I want to go for, making the difference that I intend to make is worth it to me to check the ego. I think what it boils down to is imposter syndrome is a protection for our own egos. We don't want our egos to be hurt, that we realize we might not be as good as we hope we would be, or somebody might be better. So what? You only answer for you and can make your unique contribution in the world. What are you waiting for? If you need some extra inspiration, feel free to reach out. I'm Paul J. Goldsmith on Instagram and X, and I'll talk to you next time on the next Simple Step Podcast.